Talk about some lost memories that's coming up on this fancy playlist of mine of December 22nd, 1990. Got Key Sweat coming up. Also, Papa D. I've forgotten all about that record. Ain't No Stopping Us Now must be the McFadden and Whitehead tune. Sisters of Mercy coming up. Warrant and Jane's Addiction. Well, not really a Lost 45 by Jane's Addiction. Been caught stealing, but then got Debbie Gibson and Robert Palmer coming up later on in the countdown. But now let's go to number 35. This would be the sixth and last debut on this fancy playlist, December 22nd, 1990. And her name is Elisa Fiorillo. I can't pronounce her last name. I'm just gonna go with Florilla. I'm just gonna call her Florilla. It's probably not pronounced correctly, but that's the best I can do right now. The song is called On the Way Up. I think Janet Jackson, Carolyn White, but it's got a Prince sound to it. As a matter of fact, this record was produced by Prince. Lisa Fiorillo, 1985, she won a contest at Star Search, which is sort of a forerunner of American Idol. Now, she was about 15 years old at the time. 2 years later, she got a deal with Chrysalis Records, and Jelly Bean spotted her. The producer Jelly Bean, who worked with Madonna earlier in the 80s, he came out with this record, Who Found Who, in the summer of 87, and Lisa Fiorillo sang on that record. It was an international hit. It's a Lost 45. A lot of people don't remember that record, but boy, I do. Night Tracks played the hell out of that record back in the summer of 1987. Who Found Who was a great dance record, kind of a Madonna sounding record. Then Elisa Fiorillo, she released her first album, but didn't do well. Then she teamed up with Prince, and she recorded her second album called I Am. It was at Prince's Paisley Park in 1990. On the Way Up was the single off of that did pretty well for her. This brings back a memory. I saw Elisa Fiorillo being interviewed by Donnie Simpson, the legendary Donnie Simpson of BET. BET's Video Soul, the cool, dapper Donnie Simpson. Remember that? Donnie Simpson on BET. And there were parts of the video where she appeared nude, which is not it's not even a big deal now, but it did raise some eyebrows at the time. And my memory is a little fractured on this, so bear with me. But I do remember Donnie Simpson asking her about the nudity in the video, and she said something like it represented her spirit. I can't pronounce the word. Her spiritual side. It represented her spiritual side, or whatever. And Donnie Simpson, I remember the look on Donnie Simpson's face. I think he was a little skeptical about that, but still, it's just not a big deal. I mean, it's a lovely video either way. And I guess this was her biggest hit. She sang with Prince on his Diamonds and Pearls album. She sang backup on a couple of records off that album. And years later, she joined Prince's New Power Generation. That was in 2009. And she joined Prince on a worldwide tour and sold out shows in Europe. This was in 2010. And she continues to work with Prince. This association with Prince going back to the late 80s, early 90s, worked with him for years. And now at number 35, Elisa Fiorillo. Boy, this brings back some memories. My goodness. I can't believe it's been a quarter of a century ago. Gosh, dog. All right. Here it is. Fantasy playlist, Elisa Fiorillo, On the Way Up. Fantasy playlist, December 22nd, 1990.